Hey guys, and welcome to my stimulus package update and stimulus check update. Wow, I haven't said those words in so long. I want you guys to know that I missed you more than you missed me, and I'm happy I'm back here for you with another video just to give you my perspective on everything that's been going on.
We're going to cover 4 stories today. Number 1, I'm going to let you know what's going on with oil prices and what you can expect gasoline prices to do in the upcoming days ahead. 2, the most recent developments on the monthly child tax credit payments for 2022. Republican Senator Mitt Romney modified his plan to attract more Republicans to get on board to restart the child tax credit payments. 3, I'm going to give you a war update on Russia and Ukraine. And 4, I'm going to let you know about the freedom convoys in America that are headed to Washington, D.C. This is your Friday news. Happy Friday, and I hope you're having a very nice day. Beginning with our financial news, I'm going to give you a status update on the price of oil and the price of gasoline. After Russia launched their full-scale invasion of Ukraine, oil, it spiked above $100 a barrel. So this is obviously going to affect the price of gasoline. According to AAA, the national average for gasoline in America is $3.54 a gallon. A month ago, it was $3.33 a gallon. A year ago, it was $2.66. Gasoline prices, they're on the rise because the price of oil is on the rise. Industry experts are predicting that the price of gasoline, it's going to go up by another 50 cents a gallon. So now here's what's going on. According to BP's statistical review of world energy, Russia is the number 2 oil producer in the world. According to the Energy Information Administration, at the end of 2021, Russia supplied 7% of America's crude oil. So 7%, that is a significant number. So the fear is that oil prices, they're going to continue spiking because of sanctions. So we're going to cover that in a moment. But first, let me say that President Biden says that he's working on a way to stop gasoline prices from going up further. Biden said, "My administration is using every tool at our disposal to protect American businesses and consumers from rising prices at the pump." Biden said, "I know this is hard and Americans are already hurting. I will do everything in my power to limit the pain the American people are feeling at the gas pump." President Biden says that he's going to release more oil from our strategic petroleum reserve. President Biden said the United States will release additional barrels of oil as conditions warrant. Biden, so he already did this in November with a release order of 50 million barrels. America's strategic petroleum reserve has now been drawn down to 582 million barrels, which is the lowest level since 2002. So here's what happened with the sanctions against Russia after they invaded Ukraine. President Biden, he gave his speech on Thursday. The sanctions, they were penalties against Russian billionaires, banks, and certain technological imports. The sanctions, they did not cover Russian oil and gas. It also did not cut Russia out of the SWIFT payment network, which is how financial institutions around the world, that's how they engage with one another. So ultimately, Russia was not booted out of the SWIFT network. And I'm going to give you the 2 reasons why. So reason number 1 is because it would have made it very difficult for creditors, especially in Europe, to get their money back from Russian institutions. And number 2, it would have caused more economic havoc for all the European countries that depend on Russian oil and gas. So it would have hurt us too, but it would have been worse for our European allies. In political news, I want to give you a status update on the monthly child tax credit payments for 2022. Various Republican senators, they are supporting the child tax credit payments. We previously covered Republican Senator Mitt Romney's version in an earlier video. So to refresh your memory, his version called the Family Security Act, that would give parents monthly checks of up to $350 per child. So you would qualify if you're a single parent making $200,000 a year or less, or if you're a married couple making a combined $400,000 a year or less. So Romney, he just proposed a revised version of this plan, which would also include a work requirements. So here's what's going on. Senator Romney, he's hoping that by adding in a work requirement to the child tax credit payments, he's hoping that that's going to attract enough Republican support to get to the necessary 50 votes in order for them to pass the bill. So Senator Romney, he's working with Republicans, he's working with Democrats, he's just trying to move his bill forward. So Senator Romney's aide said, I think momentum is growing quite a bit, and there's more interest because folks on the right, they want to do something. I think folks on the left, they're realizing if they don't do it bipartisan, then it's not going to happen. Romney's aide said that several Democrats are showing support, and that Senator Romney, he's still open to negotiation. Senator Romney said, "I've spoken with enough Democrats, including Joe Manchin, that insist that a work requirement is essential. And a number of Republicans say that it's absolutely essential. There has to be a work requirement." So that's the current status, and those are the current developments for the child tax credit payments for 2022. They need 50 votes in the Senate to pass it. We know that 48 Democrats, possibly 49, they support the child tax credit payments in the Senate. They basically just need a Republican or two on board to get to that 50 mark. But in order to get to the 50 with some Republican support, they're saying that they need to add in a work requirement. So that might do the trick and get some Republican support. But if you do that, then you would lose some Democratic support. So Romney's trying to see if that's going to work. So the current status is they're working on it, but it's complicated. In international news, let me give you a status update on Russia and Ukraine. The president of Russia, Vladimir Putin, is justifying his invasion by saying that he's going to get rid of all the Nazis in Ukraine. The president of Ukraine is Jewish. The president of Ukraine responded by saying, "How could I be a Nazi?" I mean, that really doesn't matter because Putin, he's looking for any excuse and he went with the Nazi one. So Putin, he's executing his military invasion. It's by the book. I mean, this is textbook stuff. So Russia, they first started with cyber attacks on soft infrastructure, and then Russian troops, they went into eastern Ukraine. Putin, he tried to trick the international community by saying that they were not soldiers. So they're not soldiers, they're peacekeepers. Well, these peacekeepers with AKs, they established the initial foothold in Ukraine. Russia then proceeded to bombings and missile strikes. They were targeting military installations, weapon depots, air defense systems, and airports. After that, Russia, they softened up Ukrainian ground forces by shelling them. After the shellings, Russia started advancing from the east, from the north, and from the south with tanks, armored vehicles, and paratroopers. Russia then took control. So they took control of airports near the capital city, and they landed a fleet of helicopters carrying Russian special forces. Special forces, they were accompanied by a fleet of military transport aircraft that deployed 2,500 Russian soldiers. The Russians, they even allowed international camera crew to film, and the Russian soldiers, they were giving thumbs ups to the cameras. The Russian and Ukrainian soldiers, they've been going at it. So civilians, they've been caught in the mix. So there have been civilian casualties, and the count, it continues to rise. US intelligence says that at least 200 Russian missiles, they have hit Ukraine. Not all bombings and missile strikes, they have not hit their targets. Playgrounds, they have been bombed, so you can see the pictures for yourself. Residential buildings, they have been struck. So this is all-out war in Ukraine. The fighting, it's reached the perimeter of the capital city. All men ages 18 to 60, they're banned from leaving Ukraine. The government is promoting civilians to take up arms against the Russian invasion. Ukrainian reservists, they've been activated, of which there are 900,000. President Zelensky is refusing to leave the capital city of Kyiv. Reports are saying that Ukraine, they're actually holding their defensive positions well against the Russians, but US officials are saying that it's just a matter of time. US officials are saying that the capital city of Ukraine, Kyiv, will most likely fall to Russian forces in a matter of days. After the capital falls, Ukrainian resistance will basically be neutralized. In current events in America, the Freedom Convoys, they started earlier this week. The convoy that started in Scranton, Pennsylvania, that was a bust. The goal, it was to be massive. It was to create gridlock. It was to create so much traffic and all that. But it was a bust because only one truck showed up, which was the organizer, Bob Bolus. So there were a few cars that showed up as well, but it was just one truck. So staying true to the cause, Bob, he still headed off to Washington, D.C. The People's Convoy from California, that was a little bit more successful. They're headed to D.C. on their cross-country 11-day journey. There's about 24 semi-trucks in that convoy and approximately 100 other vehicles. The People's Convoy, they laid out their roadmap on their website. However, they had to take a detour because of bad weather in Arizona. The People's Convoy, they're expected to make it to DC on March 5th. They may be joined by as much as 2 or 3 dozen more trucks in DC. However, if things get out of hand, protesters, they're going to be greeted by 700 National Guard and a fleet of tow trucks that are just waiting for them. So they know they're coming, they're waiting for them at DC.
Alright guys, this is all I have for you in this video. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really missed you. Hopefully I'll see you here again very, very soon. And I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions on everything we talked about here in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. I really, really appreciate you all. Please hit the like button on the video, share this video with your friends and family, and subscribe if you haven't already. And click that notifications bell to be notified that whenever I publish new videos for you. Please stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll see you in the next video.